Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz and today I have the first part in a mini-series about brewing for cEDH. My goal with this series is to share my thought process and some general principles when brewing a cEDH deck, so that you have a frame of reference to optimize your brews in the future. Let's start at the very beginning of every cEDH brew, choosing a commander or strategy. Generally speaking, there are two main approaches when brewing a new deck. The top-down approach of choosing the commander first and the bottom-up approach of choosing a strategy first. The top-down approach is the usual go-to for casual EDH decks, but it's getting more and more viable for cEDH, because not only are the commanders providing more and more value, but the 99 is getting increasingly efficient in providing all sorts of effects, from ramp to card advantage to tutoring. For this approach you start your brew by choosing a commander that you find interesting. In the next step you assess what properties that commander has, such as the color identity, casting cost, power and toughness, and of course the effects. Now you build a deck around that commander. You choose ramp spells, card advantage spells, tutors, control spells, and of course the correct combo pieces. Finally, you add support spells that might not be staples but have unique qualities in your deck, because they show important synergies with your commander or main strategy. Approaching brewing from the top down has its pros and of course its cons. Usually you end up with a deck that is pretty focused around the commander, which can lead to a fairly commander-reliant deck. Depending on your point of view, this can be either a good thing or a bad thing. Depending on the commander you choose to build around, your deck is less of a staple-only list, which means that this approach allows you to, and actually makes it necessary to, play some non-staple cards, giving your deck some flavor and uniqueness, which again can be a good or a bad thing. One of the biggest issues is, however, that you might just end up with a non-viable list, because the commander or pairing you choose to build around is not efficient enough to hold its own in a competitive environment. Examples for top-down brews that are very successful in cEDH are Urza, Shorikai, Rafine, Teshar, Godo, Krark Sakashima, the Gitrog Monster, Wynota, Inala, and Elsha. All of these decks are helmed by commanders that provide unique abilities, usually have a decent amount of value printed on them, and often have compact combo potential. So if you are anything like me and prefer to brew from the top down, look out for those high value commanders with unique abilities and compact combo potential. Let's now have a look at the bottom-up approach to brewing. This is a way more common approach in cEDH, and it was even more so like 2 years ago, because neither the 99 nor the commanders were nearly as strong as they are today. The idea of bottom-up brewing is that instead of choosing a good commander to build around, you start with a strategy, or more accurately a win con. After choosing a compact and efficient win con, you decide on a way to get there. This is usually a big payoff spell or so-called one-card combo, like Ad Nauseam, or back in the day it was Flash plus Protean Hulk. Once you choose your winning line and your way to get there, you add meta-specific interaction, removal and/or hate. Of course, you also put in all the card advantage engines and tutors that you need in order to have some consistency in your deck. Finally, you choose a commander or a pairing that provide the colors you need for your deck to be legal, and also additional value in the form of card advantage. Approaching brewing from the bottom up also has its pros and of course its cons. In most cases, the deck will be highly competitive because the underlying game plan is chosen from a pool of competitively viable strategies. Usually your 99 and commander are kind of disjointed because the commander is not an integral part of your strategy, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on your point of view. Also, most decks are 4 or 5 colors, because that will allow you to play all the best cards and all the most compact combos. This leads to a very uniform meta that mostly consists of Thrasios plus Tymna, Tymna plus Chrom, or Kenrith decks, because those commanders provide solid color identities as well as card advantage in the command zone. Examples for bottom-up brews are most Kenrith lists, most Thrasios plus Tymna lists, most Tymna plus Chrom lists, and everything with weird partners such as Tana, Ikra or Bruce Tal. All of these decks are helmed by commanders that provide very good color identities and provide some card advantage, but are also less of a main piece and more like a useful accessory to the deck. Finally, just so it's not unsaid, there are decks that fit both criteria, like Kenrith. That dude is so powerful it can be an integral part of your strategy, like in the evolution list, by being an outlet or a reanimator, but it can also just be a value engine with 5 colors that allow you to play a deck that's completely independent of Kenrith, basically like a 5-color good stuff deck. And that's it with the first part of this mini-series on the 101 of cEDH Brewing. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment about your brewing approach in the comment section down below and tell me, are you more of a top-down brewer or a bottom-up brewer, and why do you prefer one approach over the other? I'm really interested to get to know your guys' thought process on this topic. Don't forget to share the video with everyone you know and subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.